So let's talk three waves of volunteers. Have you heard of Dolores Cannon's Three Waves of Volunteer book? Well, I absolutely love this book. I bought this book many years ago, and when I bought the book and I read through it, I was absolutely connected to second waivers and how much I related to what that meant and why the earth, why we even needed three different waves of volunteers to come to this planet. What is that all about? So first of all, during the Second World War, with them dropping the atom bomb, that shook not only the planet, but it sent ripples throughout the universe. And a lot of people do not realize that this planet is not just for humans. It is connected to a lot of, first of all, animals, right? And the other inhabitants of this earth. But it's also connected to a lot of ancient beings as well that were here before humans. Okay? They were here before humans. And humans have this entitlement of they can do anything that they want and they own the earth. And so this happened during the war. Okay. So once this bomb was dropped, the Earth protectors, Earth watchers sent out a clarion call for beings that would volunteer to come to Earth for these times of quote unquote end times. As we go from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age, it can get a little rocky. So who's going to volunteer to be a part of the awakening teams on the planet? First waivers raise their hands. Now, I'm not a first waiver, I'm a second waiver, but the first waivers are in their late 50s, 60s, and maybe early 70s to mid 70s. And it was the hardest for them. They had to literally incarnate and start to share this information and bring through this information that sounded very woo woo to their parents, to their peers, to their teachers, and whoever would listen, and so can you imagine if people call things woo woo now in 2026? Can you imagine in 1950s, in the 1960s, trying to bring through information that that we have this inner power to co-create with Mother, Father, God, and just all the different things about anchoring light and how to connect with spirit and meditation and breath work. Can you imagine when we lived in a time of following our leaders, our pastors, right? Our Catholic Church leaders, and not necessarily be directly connected to Mother, Father, God, right? We, at that time, especially, went through a middle person that was in charge of telling us that we were forgiven, right? And we would share our confessions too. And so a lot of these first waivers, they went through a lot of depression and drinking and maybe drugs, because it's like, oh my God, maybe am I crazy? What am I talking about here? But this information was coming through them, and it was literally they're here to share. So that was the first waivers. In a summary, they prepared the soil for the second waivers to come. And again, the whole point was to help to share with people, to stop the wars, stop all these things that are being created that don't have to happen. There were beings that destroyed their planets and many other planets because they are destructive. And now they're here on Earth. Okay, and they have their own incarnations, their own incarnates and hybrids that are here to help on the planet for their agenda. So and a lot of them are the ones that, I mean, come on, that would have this thing happen with an atom bomb that could, you don't even know if this can destroy the whole earth. Do you even care, right? So anywho, these volunteers were the first ones to kind of share this information. And honestly, there were a lot that were shut down, and were told, this is just in your mind, and maybe they just kind of had to shift gears for a while, right? Before they can really share what they are here to share. But enough of them paved the way for the second volunteers to come. Now, I am a second waiver. Woo-hoo-hoo. So second waivers right now could be in their late 30s, their 40s, maybe their early 50s. And we came in right after the first waivers to take kind of start from where they left off, but in a different way. In a different way. We didn't have to necessarily prepare the soil. In some instances, we do, because there's still a lot of people that are not awake or aware about us kind of living in a very Truman Show type of reality, with things being presented to us as if it's natural or nature, and meanwhile, it was very much put into place to seem like it's a naturally occurring thing. Okay. Second waivers are more to themselves. There's not necessarily anything we need to do per se, for our roles here, because we basically emit a certain light. We emit a certain frequency and channel energy from our higher selves, especially once we are connected and awakened. And this is why I did the video, I think one or two videos back, about starting to hone on in about your intuition and connecting to your higher self, because it's super important, and knowing how to hear, how to see, how to kind of know when to go, when to do something, when to act. And again, like I said in that video, it can very well save your life to be able to hear intuitively if you should be somewhere, if you should do something. So anywho, second waivers, we, just going to a group outing, or to a mall, or for a walk, or for a drive, or going on a hike and anchoring light in the woods. All these things just allow you, if you are an awakened, connected being, to emit this frequency and this light, to where people may either be triggered by you and may just not like you for no reason. They don't know, but they just don't like you, right? Or they just love you, and no matter how you physically look, you just come across as very loving and kind and beautiful, because it's not necessarily like it's just you. They're feeling the energy of maybe even Mother, Father, God through you. You are that second waiver, a transmitter, a channel, right? I'm even hearing a bridge. So second waivers are a complement to first waivers, who had to do basically the work of talking about channeling messages and meditation and yoga, kind of introducing the world to all of this new language that was very much different than the religious language and ways of being. Okay, so second waivers channel and emit, and they can just be. And and another thing about second waivers, they also can put others first. They'll put others' healing and feelings first. And that's something, if you relate as a second waiver, that's something that we should work on. We should always put on our oxygen mask first, and then help others. Make sure we are fine first, because if we are not good first, then we can't be good for everyone else. Okay. So now the third waivers, That is the age group, like I would say um, teens to 20s to early 30s right now. And this group of waivers and volunteers, especially if they come in more connected. They come in more connected than a lot of the older generations that have to kind of remember who they are. And a lot of the second and third waivers come in connected too, but with life circumstances like maybe trauma that happens to them at an early age, it can kind of throw them off course. But anywho, third waivers are more in their power. They speak up more. They're more about their rights and things being fair and just for them, and how you speak to them, and if they're being heard. It's it's actually really cute. It's a really cute side of it as a third waiver, and I'm saying cute because I have children that are this age. And I see that my children, especially my daughter, is definitely a third waiver. And yeah, it's just about speaking their truth and being heard. And they're also sensitive to energy. While they're having this strength about them, they're sensitive to everything that's happening in this world, and they don't understand it. They came from a more pure way of being. And now they're here on this planet with all of these rules and regulations that are not even for the highest good. And because they know this and they sense this in their very being, it can be a little bit more challenging for them. But the difference with the first waivers that had to kind of pave the way and the third waivers is the third waivers will speak up, and they are the ones that are leading protests nowadays. They're speaking up for themselves, their rights, their generations, and just being more present with what's happening to them, and sometimes speaking up more for themselves than their families are. And a lot of times this can come across as the child having ADHD, or not, being good in school, not fitting the actual perfect child, what they would say is the perfect child in school, or how to be, that just goes and listens and does what they're told. These children are a little bit more kind of knowing their rights, and sharing what they feel inside. And I appreciate that a lot. And I implore the parents that have children that are tagged as having ADHD to not just fill the child with chemicals or to shut them up. Actually see if what they're sharing, or what they are emitting, can be helpful, and teach the child in the best way that they're able to learn without injecting them with a bunch of things, or giving them a bunch of things that inhibit why they are here, what they're here to teach us and show us, and of course everything in balance, right? Everything in balance. But there's a lot of waivers here, and it's said to be 144,000. I actually feel like there's more than that now. I feel like there's more than that now, especially being that the non-light um, beings that also incarnated here, I feel like they've amped up. So it's like, it's just, things have gotten out of control. They've really gotten out of control. So if you relate to being a waiver in any way, there is so much information online about it. I just wanted to plant the seed about the three waves of volunteers, and you can see which one calls to you, if you feel like you may be one of these, because my messages now are geared towards the people that want to help the planet, help humanity to awaken and spread that love and harmony, and also our warriors of light. We need you too. We need you too to be very present. Archangel Michael is a warrior of light. It's not all about just love and light and non harm. Sometimes you need both to protect and to make sure everything is okay, right? So, warriors of light and earth volunteers of love, we need you all. And so, please, if you feel guided to this message and you would like to know more about it or even work with me, feel free to contact me or look online and see if you can find more information about this. You will find it fascinating to see that we are not alone, but we cannot expect off planet beings to come here and do all the work, right? Because as a human collective, that's how they look at us, as a human collective. They don't look at us as color or you're borderline Mexico, you're this, they don't look at us that way. They see us as a human collective. And as a human collective, it's up to us to say no more. It's up to say no to things that are happening, and sharing YouTube videos, sharing Facebook posts and stuff like that about what's happening in our world is good, but it can also cause fear if people don't know what to do with this information, right? They don't want to be harmed by doing anything. So the more of us that wake up and come together and anchor light and meditations and love from the comfort of our homes, by ourselves, with another person, our friends, our husbands, people online. Find some way to start connecting and anchoring light. Again, if you want to connect with me and work with me, or just watch another video that's free on how to just anchor light simply. Okay, I'm going to leave this here, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.